visited here at the iHub, I saw a lot of mobile entrepreneurs, developers making apps. So I thought, let me share this presentation which I had done in a different context. Let me share the points here. So the mobile app landscape, there are a lot of people who are developing mobile apps, and there have been a lot of success stories. There you've heard about apps like Shazam or Angry Bytes, which have had millions of downloads. Those guys were rich overnight. So great, but if you see today, the last count I saw that in September in the iPhone App Store there were more than 650,000 apps. Even on Android platform there are more than 70,000 apps. The same is the case with the BlackBerry RM or the Nokia App Store which have. So which means it's a highly competitive market. There's a amazing. I don't know if you guys, you must be knowing more than me, but if you don't come in the top 50 list of the App Store, you don't exist. See, today what happens is you have those 25 which you can see easily. You can search another 25 on the App Store, but if you're not there on the top 50, you don't exist. Even if you have a very cool killer app, as they say, Apple does expose a search kind of thing, but it is a combination of various reviews you have got, search rating given by Apple. So there are a lot of complexities, which means that it's not that easy to really become hit from one particular app. It's a highly competitive market. The dynamics keep on changing. Now we had enough app stores. Now even the operators are jumping to this market. Safaricom is actually launching its own app store. Then, like in the other part of the world, Verizon, Airtel, they have their own app stores, and you have different handsets. It's already launched. Okay. So they have their own app stores, which means it's a highly competitive market. Dynamics are changing very much. So is it gloom and doom for us? Not really. Gartner predicts that in 2010, the iPhone App Store was $4 billion, and by 2013, it will become $30 billion dollars in revenue. $30 billion in revenue just from selling utility apps, games apps. So which means the opportunity is huge. And now you don't have iPhone, you have an Android, you have an RM, you have like Safaricom has its own app, so you can make a lot of money through that. Which means the opportunity is huge. And these are some of the examples I was telling you. Like these people have made millions of dollars. They had 6.5 million copies sold. I don't know if you've played these games. Some of them are so stupid games. So there's this game called where you throw a waste paper in a basket. That's it. The game is just to throw waste paper in a basket on iPhone, and it has had, I think, so zillions of downloads. And those guys are really rich. Shazam is a very cool app. What it does is that you take your phone. If you hear a music and you want to know which tune is it, which song is it, and if I want to download, you just take your app there. It recognizes that app from its database, and you have an option to buy that. So if you see, they have made 75 million subscribers, and they have identified, I think, more than 1 billion songs. So which means the opportunity is great, but at the same time, there's always a stiff competition in this market. So the question any person asks me who's developing apps is, how do I make money out of all those things? So if you see, there are 4 main ways you can make money. The first one is the paid download, which is very simple, that whenever somebody downloads the app, you can charge them some money. The average price on an iPhone App Store is, I think, around $3. But I don't know how many people do download more than 10 apps. How many of us actually use those apps? So the ratio is very less. So you getting really able to download your app is tough, but if you do it, nothing like it. The other important thing is sponsorship. What's happening, especially in the developed markets, is all the brands, all the agencies also want to make a killer app. So what they do is they sponsor a particular developer in their app. So like BBC has an app, Tommy Hilfiger has an app. In fact, these guys, that sell online products. Which is the company which owns PayPal? Yeah, their mobile app makes $1 billion a year just by selling products through their eBay. eBay makes more than $1 billion just by selling apps through their app store, as in through their app. So which means if you can get your app sponsored by any of the brands or the agencies, it's really great. A lot of health magazines in Europe, in South Africa now sponsor these app developers who make apps for them, and they share the revenue, or they sponsor the whole thing and they own the copyright for it. The third most important piece is advertising. If you have a really good app and you can, what is happening in developed markets is that you have in-app advertising. So suppose you are playing a game and suppose you are playing a cricket game, you will see a Nike ad coming there. And since the user is so much engaged with the game, his chances of clicking on the ad or at least seeing is much higher. So app advertising is really like becoming big in Western Europe, in US, in South Africa. And last is in-app purchase, where you have to really make someone buy something, like what eBay is doing. So these are the 4 ways any app developer can make money. Each model has its own strengths and weakness. Paid is like you have to if the strength is you can get upfront payment. but it's like promotion is difficult. As I said, there are 170,000 apps just on the Android phone, 600,000 apps. So if you are not in the top 50, you may have the best killer app, you don't exist. Advertising is a very good model, but the issue is there is that you should have a really large install base. So if you have a game where a lot of people download it and play, you have that scale to really people start seeing your ad in the app, clicking on it, and you making money out of it. Sponsorship, again, it is very niche, so you cannot have a huge broad base, but it's not scalable. As the weakness is you don't have scale. App purchase, you have to have a very loyal usage, and only a eBay brand or a Google brand, if it has an app, can do it. If I, as an app maker, and say want to sell something, nobody will buy it. I don't know you, so I'm always skeptical. And then payment comes to the picture. M-Pesa can solve, PayPal can solve, but PayPal doesn't work in Kenya. So there are some issues. So if you see the two main models, I think is not one or two, but a mixture of all those. So depending on what kind of app you are making, you can look at all the models. Gaming, you can have what a lot of games do is that it's a freemium model. You give some of the features as free, and the rest is that when you want new tool or something, you buy it, like the Mafia Wars of the world or the Farmville of the world. If you're looking at community sites, again, advertising works very well. So Facebook or those of the world have a lot of in-app advertising, but then you have to have a huge scale. Utility apps, it's always paid downloads and advertising. If you have a good, cool utility app, you can make money. These are the various models you can use. What I'll say is that, again, build a business, not app. What we think is we make one app and think we'll make success, not app. You have to experiment, not make one app, but portfolio apps, which are very close to each other, so that there's a lot of development cost in each of the apps. You can use, it's very easily scalable to other apps. You try variable pricing, use advertising, try different ad formats, try different ad placements. And see, the point is there's no secret sauce to it. You have to keep trying, experimenting. Other thing which we always forget is we think very locally. Or when we are making apps, we only think about iPhones or say only US market, Western Europe market. There's a huge Southeast Asian market. In fact, for InMobi, a lot of revenue comes from Indonesia. A lot of people actually download a lot of apps and browse internet from Indonesia. And we never thought, sitting from Kenya, never think about, can we do it in Indonesia? So that's why I have a more global perspective, have a more broader view of things, connect with people, marketing, tech crunches of the world. It's really, really helpful. There are a lot of competitions happening these days, always be active on it, and exploit the global nature of the app market. And potential is huge, but the answer is there's no simple answer. Keep trying, keep experimenting new, connect with similar folks, other parts of the world, and someday you may hit the secret sauce. I think that's it. As they say in Swahili, as I'm learning Swahili, asante sasa.